Alright, Schlockmeisters fans, a movie I've never seen before. Night Kill. Let's check it out. Alright, what you're overhearing is Catherine Atwell, played by Jaclyn Smith, and her lover, James Franciscus, who plays Steve. And it appears that somebody's recording their lovemaking conversations. Mike Connors plays Jaclyn Smith's husband, Wendell, and he's putting some money in a locker at a bus station, or no, I'm sorry, an airport.
Thanks, McCarthy.
And here he is paying off a guard. Clearly he's into some sort of shady business.
I want a divorce, Wendell.
All right, gotta look solid for the merger.
I've been waiting a year for an imaginary merger.
No kidding. Just don't forget, all of your mother's assets and most of yours are tied up in my company.
She's having that affair with Steve, James Franciscus, who happens to be her husband's business partner.
Fill me up, will you?
They don't know that they're screwing, although he knows she's screwing somebody, but he doesn't care. Their marriage is a sham. Steve's making a drink for Wendell.
Eyes gaining on your duty. Go on. Get her, boy. Get her. Huh? You been feeding these animals?
She had no idea Steve was going to do that.
Oh my God, he's having a heart attack.
No, he's not.
This is hatred. This is disrespect.
I just killed the bastard.
I didn't want him killed.
He was killing you day after day, tearing you apart, bleeding you to death. God, how he enjoyed doing it. How much more do you think you
And apparently that's being recorded also.
what? When you come back, just take something to help you sleep.
They've hid the body in the freezer.
Go to the banquet.
Yes, you will go.
No.
If you seem nervous, so much the better. I think it's because of the award they're giving you.
Oh, I can't go.
She just won an award, and now Fritz Weaver is
Get a rose petals for us to lie on when we make love.
being inappropriate with
I
her.
don't think I've ever seen you look so damn sexy.
Herbert.
He just happens to have a young wife, Sybil Danning, who's about 35 years younger than him.
When we have to dance, I'll try to play.
Secretary is reported of missing, apparently.
I'm Lieutenant Donner. Police Department. May I come in?
Robert Mitchum.
What is it, Lieutenant?
Well, I'm here about your husband. We received a missing persons report on him.
Yes, Lieutenant.
We're having a little trouble, Mrs. Atwell. Your husband never did check into the senator.
When he called, was it collect?
No.
She told him that he left for Washington, D.C. on a business trip.
We're going to see him, what?
Afraid that he might search the house, she opens up the freezer to find not her husband, but Steve shot in the head. Things just got a little weird.
Everyone in Phoenix is talking about you. Get rid of Steve Fulton. He's a nothing.
No, don't say that.
Believe me, you can do better.
Well, she ends up fishing Steve's body out of the freezer. She's gonna have to dump it. I don't know if this is an abandoned well or what, but body be gone.
Mrs. Atwell, have you heard from your husband?
No, I haven't.
We checked the airport and he never made that flight last night.
Well, maybe he took that flight.
So she's at the airport and she hears her husband's name paged. And then she sees her husband. So she freaks out, leaves, and then, is that her husband? A chase ensues, which ends up, I don't know where the hell they are, but she eventually gets out of there. But before she can completely leave, her car gets rammed. And she's knocked cold. So whoever it is rummaging through her purse and then rummaging through her. When she ends up coming to, she's back at her own house, unaware of how she got there. They have a pet monkey, that's what you keep hearing squealing. She's starting to question everything that's happened. She ends up finding the vial that Steve used.
Hyperlight distress. Toxic. No antidote.
Or is he still alive?
You last night. There's no record of your husband taking a flight anywhere. The Washington police have not been able to locate him in any hotel. The one thing I am sure of is that your husband did not leave Phoenix unless he drove.
She discovers that her husband made a payment to somebody named Mr. Rodriguez, a detective.
Billy Rodriguez is a private detective from Tucson.
Atwell Industries uses a lot of security people.
No, he's not the corporation type. I know him from the police department here. Specializes in bedroom pictures, divorce cases, things like that.
Recordings, maybe. And then a Hispanic man enters her house. Is that Mr. Rodriguez? Well, he takes off. It wasn't. It was the maid's husband.
My husband just called me. Why did you hit him? I just sent him over to get my uniform from the house. But you were not at home. I called many times. But busy.
And she finds that somebody's killed her dog. At this point, she's convinced her husband is alive, and then she even finds him. But nope, he's still dead. Well, then Robert Mitchum shows up to basically arrest her. He knows he didn't kill her husband, but he says, "Why don't you go take a shower?" And then he's, I guess, turning on some hot steam in there and locking her in. Turns out he was masquerading as the dead husband. He's the one who has the tapes. I don't think he's a cop. He had a Wendell mask. Keyword had. Well, he tied the shower doors closed, goes to check on her, and she's apparently dead. Now he can untie it, turn on the steam again, and make it look like an accident.
I want to report a murder.
His name is Wendell Atwell.
Who is this, please?
My name is Steve Fulton. That's right. 2131 Edgemont Drive.
Hold on just a second. Were you a witness?
Not exactly,
And how do you know?
because I killed him.
He retrieves the money from the locker, but then he gets busted by the security guard who was paid off by Wendell.
Would you come with me, please? Step this way.
He says our boss is in trouble. He no longer needs the locker. Pays him a nice big chunk of money there. And away he goes. But apparently, Jaclyn Smith wasn't quite dead.
No. Just shadow. I'm cold.
And that's the way our movie ends.
Don't talk anymore. Save your strength.
Shadow.
Alright, let's talk about this movie, Nightkill. Never seen this until today. It's a movie that I was always kind of intrigued by because I remember that poster art there. I had an Embassy home video catalog when I was a teenager. Don't know where I picked it up from, but I had one. And they had this one listed in there, and it always looked kind of cool to me, but I never saw it in any video store, never rented it, never copied it. This seems like a movie that would have played on cable back in the 80s, but as far as I can recall, it didn't. So it seems like something I would have watched at the time, but again, never did. Recently, Kino had a sale, and I picked it up. So here we go, Nightkill. Jaclyn Smith, one of Charlie's Angels, stars in this movie. She's married to Wendell, Mike Connors, but they have a sham of a marriage, and she wants a divorce, but they're wealthy, but he keeps saying, well, we can't divorce yet because this merger has to happen, blah, 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 and she's been waiting a while. She's sleeping around on him, and he knows about it, and he's okay with it because they don't really have a marriage anymore, but nonetheless, she's tired of it. Now, her lover is James Franciscus, who's one of her husband's business partners. Well, unbeknownst to her, while they're all together in the room, he poisons Wendell, and then he dies. Jaclyn Smith freaks out. You killed him. He's like, I just killed the bastard, because he was a bastard. And he decides, we have to have this plan now. We'll dump the body. I'll fly to Washington. I'll pretend that I'm him. Anyway, I don't know what exactly the plan is. But anyway, the next day a cop shows up, Robert Mitchum. He says, I'm Officer Donner. Your husband's secretary reported him missing. So she kind of feigns any interest in it. She's like, I don't know anything about it. He left on a business trip, blah, blah, blah. Well, he says, I'll probably come back with a search warrant. So she freaks out. She looks in the freezer where they hid the body, and her husband's not in there anymore. But her lover, Steve, is, with a bullet in his head. And she's like, what the hell's going on now? So she freaks out, doesn't know what to do. She's afraid the cop is going to come back. So she actually takes Steve's body, puts it in a body bag. Not sure where she got the body bag, but she had one. Took him out and dumped him in some abandoned well in the desert somewhere. They live in Phoenix. The rest of the movie, the detective is kind of dogging her a little bit, asking questions, blah, blah, blah. But also she keeps seeing her husband in various places. He's a very distinctive looking cowboy hat. At one point she's getting chased in a car by him. She's like, is he not really dead? I don't know what the hell's going on. She's freaking out. Her dog dies. The guy keeps questioning her. The cop does. Steve, her lover, is also missing. Well, obviously he's missing because he's dead. She doesn't know what the hell's going on. She gets kidnapped one night, or actually she gets knocked out, then kidnapped, dumped back in her house. When she wakes up, she wanders around. She sees her husband in the den. She goes to attack him. What's going on? But it turns out he's dead, sitting there. She thought he was alive. And then the cop shows up and sees the body and is like, well, you're in trouble now. I know you didn't kill him, but you were an accessory after the fact. So anyway, might want to just take a shower because I got to take you downtown. So she takes a shower. Seems odd. Meanwhile, we determine at this point that Robert Mitchum, the cop, isn't really a cop. In fact, he is behind everything that's going on here. He locks her in the shower, turns on some steam in there and some hot water, I guess, to burn her. She collapses and apparently dies. He then unties the shower, opens it up, checks on her, puts the steam back on to make it look like it was an accident. At that point, she's really burned and everything. So, but anyway, he then goes to retrieve this locker full of money this briefcase full of money that Wendell had. He calls the cops and says that he's Steve, and I just killed Wendell. All the time he'd been masquerading as Detective Donner, a cop. The Donner was the one who answered the phone, actually. So we don't exactly know who he is, but he's behind it all, and he gets on a plane and essentially gets away. However, the last scene in the movie, we see Jaclyn Smith has crawled out of the shower. She is still alive, and she's calling the police, and ambulance is on its way over, so who knows what's going to happen after that. Anyway, that is Night Kill, 99 minutes. Now, I read a review of this on IMDb from one of the critics there, and they thought it was a little long in the tooth, but I kind of enjoyed it. There's no nudity in this movie. Jaclyn Smith, very lovely lady, but yeah, Sybil Danning, also lovely, but no nudity in this movie, unfortunately. Fritz Weaver's also in this movie, by the way. He's married to Sybil Danning, even though there's like a 35-year age difference or something like that. But he's macking on Jaclyn Smith the whole time, too. But anyway, I rather enjoyed this film. It probably could have been a little shorter, but it was a nice little mystery. Nice couple of twists at the end there. So yeah, I kind of thought it was cool. So check it out. Night Kill. Let me know what you think about it. Leave some comments down below. You can get this from Kino Lorber, and I will leave a link to you on Amazon if you want to buy it. Buy it. Bye.